Have you ever watched a movie, listened to aviation radio, or heard military communication and noticed something strange? Someone gives an instruction, and the reply is simply, Roger. Sometimes they even say, Roger that. Or even more confusing, Roger, Roger. But here's the question most people never ask. Who is Roger? Is Roger a person? A commander? A code name? Or is it just random? The truth is, Roger is not a person at all. And the real story behind this word goes back to the early days of radio communication, when sending messages clearly was much harder than it is today. To understand why people say Roger, we first need to go back in time. In the early 1900s, radio communication was still new. Signals were weak, voices were unclear, and background noise made it difficult to understand messages. Imagine trying to communicate important instructions during a storm, inside a noisy aircraft, or in the middle of battle. A simple word like yes could easily be misunderstood. Because of this, radio operators needed a clear and standardized way to confirm that they received a message. Not that they agreed with it. Not that they would follow it. Just that they heard it. So instead of saying yes, they used the letter R. But why the letter R? Because in radio communication, the letter R meant received. But there was another problem. Saying just the letter R over the radio could still be confusing. It could sound like R, ah, or even get lost in static. So radio operators started using something called a phonetic alphabet. This alphabet assigns a word to each letter to make communication clearer. For example, A becomes Alpha, B becomes Bravo, C becomes Charlie. Today, we use the NATO phonetic alphabet. But before that, an older phonetic alphabet was used. And in that alphabet, the letter R was represented by the word Roger. So when someone said Roger, they were simply saying, I received your message. Not yes, not okay. Just, I heard you. This made communication much clearer and reduced mistakes. Over time, the word Roger became standard in aviation, military communication, and even emergency services. But there's something even more interesting. People often think Roger means agreement. But technically, it doesn't. If someone says, turn left immediately, and you reply, Roger, you are only saying, I received your instruction. You are not saying, I will do it. To confirm that you will follow the instruction, another word is used. That word is Wilco. Wilco means, will comply. So if someone says, climb to 5,000 feet, and you reply, Wilco, you are saying, I received your message and I will follow it. Sometimes people combine both. Roger, Wilco, which basically means, I heard you, and I will comply. But in movies, people rarely use Wilco. They mostly just say Roger because it sounds cooler. Now what about the famous phrase, Roger, Roger? Why do people say it twice? This became popular mostly because of movies and pop culture. Repeating Roger doesn't really add new meaning. It's more for emphasis, or sometimes just style. It's like saying, copy, copy, or, okay, okay. It simply reinforces that the message was received. Another interesting detail is that modern aviation communication still uses Roger, even though the phonetic alphabet has changed. Today, the NATO phonetic alphabet uses Romeo for the letter R, but Roger stayed. Why? Because by the time the alphabet changed, Roger was already deeply embedded in radio communication culture. Changing it would cause confusion. So they kept using it. This shows how language evolves. Sometimes words stay, not because they are perfect, but because people are already used to them. And Roger is one of those words. You might also hear other radio words like over, which means, I'm finished speaking, your turn. Out, which means, conversation ended. Copy, which also means, I received your message. But among all of these, Roger became one of the most iconic. It's short, clear, easy to recognize, and difficult to misunderstand. That's exactly what radio communication needs. Today, the word Roger is used far beyond the military. You'll hear it in movies, video games, air traffic control, emergency response, even casual conversations. But few actually know its origin. So the next time you hear someone say, Roger, remember, they are not talking to a person. They are using a word that started as the letter R, meaning received, from an old radio alphabet, designed to prevent misunderstandings in noisy communication. It's a small word with a long history, and it helped make communication safer in the air, on land, and at sea. Now here's something to think about. If you had your own radio code word, what would it be? Would you replace Roger with something cooler? Or would you keep the classic? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.